What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. And oh yes, it's time. It's Vader time. And we're going to be having a look at the WWE Mattel Elite Series 31 Big Van Vader. Now, I'm actually really glad I found this guy. This is actually one figure I've actually been wanting to get since the Legends line, but I missed out on him. Just like the Road Warriors, but thankfully, me being patient and waiting actually got me the attire I wanted. So here we have Big Van Vader in his packaging. You can see he does come with his mask. And the Mastodon mask. That is a really nice touch. I love that mask. We have a nice picture of Vader there. On the back we have a read-up saying, Vader at 6'5", 450 pounds. Vader hails from the Rocky Mountains and could have been mistaken for one of them himself. Vader began his career in the AWA, but first established his dominance in Japan, where he demolished legends and terrorized fans. In 1992 and 1993, Vader was nearly unbeatable, showing amazing power and shocking agility for his size, enjoying 3 WCW championship reigns in the process. Joining the WWE, Vader showed more of his power at the Royal Rumble '96, battling Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series 1996 and defeating The Undertaker at Royal Rumble 1997. Vader helped redefine what a behemoth could do in the ring, and his physical gifts made him one of the most dangerous competitors ever. Oh, that was a mouthful, but anyway, going on. Other figures in this series include Jimmy and Jey Uso, first time in their elite form, another Kane, which I'm actually excited to get that Kane, Dean Ambrose, and The Rock. Not much more to say about this packaging, so what I'm going to do now is take a little moment, get him open up, and we'll go on to the rest of his review, so sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Big Van Vader out of packaging, and let's go on to his accessories first, because he does come with 2. I'll get on to the major one first. The first one is his Mastodon mask. Now, this is one accessory that I was not expecting Vader to ever get in a Mattel line, honestly. I know Jax did do a Vader, but I didn't collect Jax. I still don't collect Jax. Crucifying me, why don't you? But this is a really nice accessory, and I'm really glad Mattel found a way to give us this. And in case you don't know, it does just slide over his head like that, and you can see his eyes through the hole, so that's really nice. My only problem with this accessory comes with his mask. The problem is that he cannot wear both at the same time with the eyes in the right place. I'm pretty sure there's a way you can like force this red mask in here and line it up, and I don't know, I just cannot find a way to line these up correctly to have him wear it at the same time. But moving that off to the side, he does come with this mask, which is the traditional Vader mask. One problem I do have is that it's a little big for Vader. Let's actually get it over his head really fast, and let's see if I can do this on camera. Okay, we got one side on. We got another. Okay, and get that under his chin. The mask is a big fit on Vader, and you know, he's just a reissue from the Legends Vader. If you have that Vader, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I prefer this costume. Now, I think Mattel should have redone the head sculpt with the mask sculpted on like they did with the Amazon exclusive Mankind. You know, his mask is sculpted on versus the Elite Mankind whose mask can come off. But yeah, this is one instance I really wish that they had sculpted the mask onto his head, found a way to put the Mastodon mask over that, because let me actually show you. I'm getting it on his head. I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can clearly see that it doesn't mesh with his eyes anymore, and that's a bummer for me, because I wanted to display him with both accessories at one time, and you really can't. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, going on to Vader himself, let's get a good 360 of him. Like I said, this is the attire that I recall seeing Vader in the most. I'm not that old, but you know, I do remember seeing Vader, and this is the attire that I remember him most in it. And in fact, I even had a little Vader figure that came in like a play set with a Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and the Hearts, and Vader was included in it. And you know, this is the attire he wore. And I'm really glad that I have a larger scale, and it just reminds me so much of my childhood now. But you can see he does have his MMA gloves. I think he's the only figure to use these hands, because I haven't seen them on any other figure, nor, well, besides Vader, I have not seen them used ever. So I'm guessing that these hands are exclusive to Vader himself. But really nice figure. One gripe I do have are these knee pads. I'm not sure why he has knee pads. I don't know. The knee pads just kind of throw me off, because you know, he did wear knee pads under his tights, and I think that would have been better if they just left this alone. But yeah, you know, stuff happens. But Vader does have the standard elite articulation despite having this really massive frame, and I wish I had a figure to compare him with. Unfortunately, I don't at the moment. But he has the standard elite articulation. He has a ball jointed head. He can look up, down, left and right, and he can also slightly tilt his head. Arms on a ball joint go out. Do a full 360. He spins at the bicep, single jointed at the elbow, spins it and bends at the wrist. And it's the same for both arms. He has an ab crunch, although if you crunch it too much, it just says time. I'd make what you will of that. He does swivel at the waist. Legs go forward about that far. Back, and for some reason mine has like a ratchet joint. Is that the same with everyone else's? If your Vader has like this ratchet sound to it, let me know. Legs go out. He spins at the bicep, or spins at the thigh, excuse me. Moving his leg up. He is double jointed in the knee. If you do not believe me, that is his whole kneecap, because that's one joint, and that's two. Ratcheting again. He spins at the boot, and has a really stiff ankle joint. Well, I've actually gotten this one a little loose, but this one I cannot get loose for the life of me. It does pivot. I know if I put too much pressure on that joint is going to break, and I think over time it will loosen up, but for right now I'm not going to mess around with it too much. And he does have ankle pivot. So standard elite articulation. So what I'm going to do now is get Vader posed and move on to my final thoughts. Then we'll wrap up this review, so sit tight everyone. And so here we have Vader posed for my final thoughts, and overall, I really, really enjoy this figure a lot. I know I say that about a lot of figures, but that's because I do enjoy them, and I've said that hundreds of times. But this is one figure I'm actually glad to have in my collection. I actually found Vader one night after work. It was during the holidays, actually. I went in after work, you know, long day, walked into Walmart, found, you know, Elite 31, and I found Vader front and center. And they had just put out a fresh case, so, you know, luck was on my side that day. Well, that night, morning, whatever. But I'm glad I walked into Walmart because I found him. If you can find Vader, I highly recommend you pick him up, especially if you don't have the Legends Vader, like I don't have him to compare him with. But I like this version much better because it's, you know, I can recall it more. Online Vader is kind of pricey. Last time I checked, people were like asking $40 for him. Maybe that's gone down. Maybe that's what they're still asking for it. I don't know. I haven't checked. Once I get a figure, I normally don't check prices anymore. If you can find him, pick him up. You'll enjoy this figure, especially if you're a fan of Vader. If you don't have him in your collection, you need to have this figure there. He is a marvelous figure. You will not be disappointed. And this is King of Dragons 5000 saying, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone. もう一度